This move that I'm about to show you is what a lot of fighters don't really think about, especially beginners, is that, we often think of fighting as the big knockouts because we watch UFC and boxing and that's what we watch it for. But it's actually what happens before that knockout that really gets the knockout, right? Ironically. And the thing is that today's video, I'm going to talk about setups, which are the most important part to really knock someone out. All right, guys, my name's Chris. Welcome back to Sicat Kickboxing Club. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so, please like this video if you only if you get value out of it, and subscribe to the channel if you've been watching for a while. I also run a podcast with high-level martial artists, whatever your discipline is, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, MMA, we got it all. I interview and have conversations with UFC fighters, from practitioners to hobbyists. I'll click the show links down below. It's called the Speakeasy podcast. And also comment, guys, on what you want to see for upcoming videos, and tell me what you think about these videos. And I really enjoy doing these videos for you guys. I've been coaching for a while now, for over a decade. And I really enjoy making these videos. So share these videos to someone that wants to learn the art of kickboxing. All right, let's get right into it, guys. So oftentimes when I first started, most beginners don't understand these concepts. And how I like to coach is that I like to teach my newer students advanced concepts so that they know it and they know what to expect when they're going through their kickboxing journey. So what I mean by that is that I'll let them know, I don't teach them how to quote unquote really knock someone out in the beginning, right? Like, you have to teach them what leads to that knockout. It's kind of like storytelling. You have the problem, you have the climax, and then you have the solution, right? So what I like to teach them is the very basics to get to that solution, which is pretty much knocking someone out or winning the fight. All right, so that's the best way to describe it. Now, when I started fighting, I didn't understand these concepts. I had to get it drilled in my head. I'm like, wait, why are you gonna throw just something like this that looks ridiculous? Or why are you gonna feint, which is trying to fake them out, right? Like the right? Like even just that concept, I'm like, that looks ridiculous. You know, what's that really gonna do? But it does a lot. Just like what I've talked about in prior videos, when you make someone flinch, right? For you, the guys that are just starting off, this is probably the best way that I can describe it. So when you make someone flinch, you kind of like think back when you play around in high school or something, and you'd be like that, right? I've explained this in prior videos, but like that. But it's no different, but just throwing something without actually throwing it. And what I mean is the simple example would be a jab, right? So I'm not gonna actually throw the jab, but I'll go boom, boom. That will make someone flinch because they think that you're actually hitting them. And look, where I'm gonna lead with this video is, even when you throw the jab, just for an example, I'm going to throw it. I'll throw it at them. There's different kinds of jabs. I'll throw it at them, but I won't throw it with full force, so I'm not fully committed, if that makes any sense, okay? So what I mean by that is that you have different types of jabs. So look, you have the stiff jab, boom, boom, right? You have the quick jab. And then you have kind of like the just slap backhand jab that I like to call it, which I like to use personally, like this. You're just throwing it out there to distract them, to literally distract them and kind of make them blink and make them flinch and make them kind of move their head and react, because they think you're throwing a stiff jab after you throw it, and then they don't want to get hit by that. So now you're just kind of probing. And what that does, guys, is that it's a non-risky move, right? You're pretty much what's called just probing. You're distracting them. So you're just throwing this. Look, I'm not like moving my hip, and I'm not committed to that punch. I'm just simply distracting them. It's pretty much throwing smoke is what we like to call it. So saying that, those are going to be like the setups. And in this video, I'm gonna show you different ones, okay? This, guys, really pay attention because this may be, not even maybe, one of the most important assets that you have in fighting, all right? Not necessarily like the move that you're doing, not like you're throwing a hard two or like even a hard devastating kick or knee, but it's to set up those devastating twos and then hard knees and hard kicks, right? Because when you go up in levels, when it comes to fighting, you're not gonna fool anyone at that level. You're not, meaning that you're not going to just go ahead and throw a two and then all of a sudden they get hit by it, right? Unless it's just they're at a lower level or they're really tired or just depending on the situation. So with these setups that I'm gonna show you, look in this camera over here, is that number one, I'll show you the jab real quick, okay? So, because I find it's very easy and it's your lead and it doesn't take much time to do. So like I said prior, I'm in my stance and then I can either flinch them like this, just not even throw the jab, you know, just make the movement, or I can literally throw halfway and then stop and then go back. Or I can actually throw the jab. Now, the reason why I explain those three sequences is that you're leading up to that jab. You're leading up to that third jab where you want to hit them, right? So you're pretty much tricking them. So if I throw a midway jab, right, halfway, they're most likely going to flinch because it looks like I'm actually throwing the punch. But after a few of them, right, and then I'll actually throw the hard, stiff jab because you're making them think now. You're making them use their brain. That's why fighting is such an IQ sport that most people don't realize. They think it's just this like savage, well, it is, but they think it's just going back and forth and then trying to knock each other out. But there's more to the mental game. Actually, I would argue that it's about 80% of mental game and then 20% of just sheer toughness, grit, and all that stuff. But when you throw a jab, again, you're faking the jab, and then now they think you're gonna fake another one. Well, they're gonna keep their guard down, right? Because they're not gonna expect a real jab, and then that's when you throw a real jab. You have to, the key is, guys, is to follow the patterns. When your opponent reacts to something that you're doing, and I'll use this again as an example, the jab, when they react and they're doing this, and they're doing that, it's simple data and information that you're getting so that you can ruin the pattern. I'm gonna say that again. It's data and information when you make someone react so that you can disrupt their pattern to be able to hit them for your next shot, which is most likely going to be your hard shot or your final blow, whatever you wanna call it, okay? And even at that, it's trickery that you could go to the body. It opens up a lot. So again, with the jab, these are just basics, but you can not throw the jab, but you can move your body just like, again, you're faking it in high school, right? Doing that. Or you could throw a midway jab like you're gonna hit them, but not actually throw it. And then you can, boom, throw the actual jab. The thing about this, guys, again, too, is that you have to over-exaggerate your movements, okay? Over-exaggerate your movements so that they actually fall for it. Because if I were just doing this, and if I was being lazy with it, because technically that's what it is, like, you have to get into the form of actually throwing the jab, like you're gonna throw the jab, which you are, and then you're stopping. Right? See, that's scary within itself. I mean, if someone was coming up to me like that, like, oh, you know, which I did in the very beginning, but you learn to pick up on that information. Okay, so again, guys, I wanna make this clear. When you make someone react, it's data and information to disrupt their pattern to hit them somewhere else, right? That's literally what a setup is. So I showed you the jab. You can do, so since I showed you the basics from that jab, you can now do it with any move. Just do the movement, the techniques. Watch my other videos to show that if you don't know how to throw a 2 or a knee. Now you can literally do the movements with your other parts of your attack. So now I'll throw a 2, right? Look. All it is, guys, is that I'm throwing a 2 without actually throwing it. I'm doing the start of the movements without actually throwing the full effect of the punch. Now, you can throw the full effect of the punch once you get done setting them up. That's the whole point of this video. But when you throw, look, halfway, 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 right? Or I'm moving my hip and my body extremities to fool them into reacting, okay? To disrupt their pattern. So I'll go here. So with a 2, I'll go boom, right? And then I'll mix it up. I'll mix it up with a jab. Boom, 2, boom, 2, right? So that they get confused and they don't see where it's coming from. And then when I actually throw it, they'll get confused. Again, guys, you can do this with a hook because it comes from another angle, you see? And this is why I love teaching, and this is why I just love the art of kickboxing in general, because it's the trickery. It's an IQ game. It's literally like a mind, excuse my French, but a mind fuck, right? It's like, oh man, you're tricking your other opponent to literally hit them. It's like a game theory. If you guys know what game theory is, it's like a back and forth kind of thing. Like, what's the other guy gonna do? Okay, what am I gonna do? It's literally like playing chess. That's why I love the game. It's a lot of mental aspects to it. So you get a lot of brain work into it. Okay, and now I'm gonna go with the kicks. Same thing with the kicks here. Look, over here with the kicks, it's a little bit different because I'm going to do this. Look, this is a kick, right? I'll show you here on this video. Look over here. This is a kick, look. Boom. Notice how my arm, notice how my arm is moving, right, like this, right? So that I could frame off. It's the same thing as a feint, when you feint, but I'm gonna slide a little bit, look. You see that? I'm literally doing the same motions as how I would actually kick, but I'll add a slide to cover that distance. Watch my feet, look. Same motion. I'm taking that angle with my feet. You see? Look, I have my arm kind of crossed because that's what happens when I kick. Look, I'll do it in slow-mo. You see that? It's the same motion. You see? Look. Now, I think it's so beautiful. I think that's a beautiful feint to do because you can literally connect it with everything. So if I'm gonna do a fake kick, look, right? It's such a trickery move. It's so devious. Like, it's so devious to trick your opponent into doing something else. It's literally manipulating. You're manipulating them with your mind and your movement, of course, but psychologically, they're in fear. They're in fight or flight. They're like, oh no, you know? So again, with a kick, I'm just showing you like the basic concept, guys. It's all concepts, okay? I can show you all the moves, but you have to understand what you're actually doing. Not memorize it, but understand. It's kind of like, oh, because the reason why I swing my arm this way is that they think that I'm going for a kick where I'm going to throw a hook and then maybe a low kick or maybe a hook or a punch combination, right? But by then, they're so worried about the kick that they're probably gonna check block like this, right, to block the kick, or they're gonna do this Dutch style block right here. So if I'm kicking them and then they block it, that's fine. I'll fake the kick, hook them right here while they're checking, while they got their leg up, their leg comes down. That is the power of feints and kicks and yeah, just all that. Like, it's honestly, guys, it's one of my main tools. That's why I teach my newer students right away of that. Like, a lot of coaches, yes, you have to teach them the basics with the jabs, with the twos and the knees and all that. But within that system, I'll implement those things so they know what to expect ahead of time, so they could start working on it and it builds over time. Like, I don't want to show them later in their kickboxing journey because they're literally having to learn like something new where they could have learned that while implementing the basics in the beginning, right? If that makes any sense, okay? So thanks for watching, guys. Again, share this video with anyone that wants to learn the art of kickboxing. I enjoy doing this. I've been doing this for a while. Like this video only if you got value out of it. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and check out the podcast, and I'll see you on the next one.